right. Sue Barber, welcome to Empower Network TV.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Me too. And where are you coming to us? Are you in North America? What part of the world are you in?
Yeah, I'm in North America. I'm in the Chicagoland area, but closer
Okay.
to the Wisconsin border.
Okay. So did you guys get nailed in the last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we've
Okay.
definitely got
Okay.
some serious snow and serious cold temperatures for sure.
All right. Well, good luck with that. Are you staying warm? Do you guys bundle up
We're
and
we're doing good. We're hanging in there.
good, good. All right. All right. So we're going to be talking about the visibility factor today. So, because you do executive coaching. Now, should we jump into, because you do a podcast called Visibility Factor as well.
Mhm.
So what is this? Who is this targeting? Who are you helping?
So the primary target is anyone in a corporate environment, maybe entrepreneurs as well, but people who really want to do something bigger, but they have some fears, they have some limiting beliefs that are holding them back. And so they don't know how to be visible. They don't know how to talk about their results or accomplishments in the best way. They feel like it's bragging. And so they just don't do anything. They just kind of hide and play small. And so my goal is to help them learn how to do this in a way that works authentically in their own way.
I love it because the first 6 months or 8 months of doing this, I was playing small and hiding behind all my interviews and events because I was scared of actually promoting my results. And it wasn't until a
Mhm.
year in. So this is wonderful. There's a lot of people in this group that they want to get out on social media soon. They want to be doing this stuff. They want to let their voice out, but they're scared. They're going to judge me. I'm going to, what if I fail? What if okay, so
Right.
what do you,
All those things. Yes.
yeah, psychologically, what are you finding are the biggest hurdles to someone actually standing up and going, I am going to be me? Like, what is holding them back?
I mean, you mentioned some of them right there, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Other people know more than I am. They live in a comparison kind of frame. And especially in social media, there's so many people out there who make it look perfect and that they don't think that they can compete instead of recognizing that they have a unique voice, unique experiences, their perspective is their own. And so sharing that is actually what someone needs to hear. They want someone to be vulnerable and share their story, not, to be the perfect person all the time. So I have found it to be very impactful for you to just start sharing your story and talking about the things that you did well, the things that didn't go well, because that's what connects people to you as stories.
Boom. Okay, so how do you get them to start to learn to tell their story and to use their voice? What do you how do you do that?
I mean, most of the time it's starting with kind of wherever they are, right? Talking to me about whatever's frustrating them, what their challenges are. Most of the time they're coming saying, I want to get promoted. I want to do more, but I don't know how. And so once they start talking about these things, it's listening to the words they use, hearing the language that they're using about themselves, about the things that they do, because I can pretty much pinpoint there's some imposter syndrome happening for them, maybe a lack of confidence, maybe a situation that impacted them in a way that they just don't feel comfortable or safe to be able to talk about themselves or what they're doing. And so trying to help them take little baby steps, I call it, right? It doesn't have to be some grand gesture, some baby steps that they can start taking that's helping them take action, which then builds their confidence, which then lets them be more visible. So the more that we try these things and they see that it works, then they're okay, tell me, let's do some more. I'm ready to do more. So they get motivated, excited. I really want people to see that they can play bigger, that there's a lot of possibilities out there for them. They just have to start taking some small actions to make that happen.
Okay, this bleeds into your favorite part because I can see your eyes starting to light up. So, what is your favorite part of this, Sue? What's the best part?
I mean, to me, it's when people start to see for themselves what they can do. And I am all about possibilities. And most people don't think about those things, right? They think about their day to day, they live on automatic pilot. They don't think beyond, the four walls of wherever they are at that moment. And so I want people to start to see that if they could do these things in a bigger way, imagine what their life could look like, right? Imagine what their career could look like. And I just don't think people dream enough. And so I try to help them see those dreams and see what's possible for them. And it's so fun for me when that happens, when that magic starts happening and they start just doing things that they never thought was possible for them. It's magic. It really is just fun to be a part of it. And I feel very honored that I get to coach them and see that happen.
Amazing. I love watching your eyes light up as you're saying all this. So how did you get over this yourself? What's the story behind that?
Oh, yeah. That's what's first chapter of the book is the moment where someone told me I wasn't being visible and I wasn't adding value in meetings and I wasn't doing anything to help my team. I mean, all of the horrible things that I had to hear in that moment. I am so grateful that that person told me. But before that, I thought I was a top talent. I was doing all the right things. So I had no idea that I wasn't being visible. And so I was really grateful she told me because it set me on this journey of what does visibility look like where you're not bragging? How can you do it in an authentic way? And I was more of an introvert. So it just didn't feel natural for me to talk about myself or even my team, right? So I had to learn the importance of sitting at the table, sharing the information with them, offering to help. I started paying attention to what other people were doing, and I thought, well, I don't want to do it that way, but I can do it my way. And so I just started adopting things in a different way and then teaching my team how to do it. And then when I left the company, I started teaching people in from a coaching's perspective or going into companies and leading workshops and doing more of that because my goal is to get the visibility message out to as many people as I can because it's just holding us back when we don't do the things that we could be doing. It's just a waste of our potential and possibilities in our career.
That's an amazing story. So what has this done in your life then? Becoming more visible. What does it produce?
Oh, it's so much. At first it was at the company I worked at, helping me be more visible there, helping my team. What I realized though is that I wasn't being visible at home either in the best way. So I recognized it in my daughters. Like they weren't standing up for themselves. They weren't doing enough. They weren't saying, if they were dating someone, I want to go do this, not that. And so that was a big aha moment. And so the funny story, which is not so funny, it's actually serious, but I said to my husband, you're getting a new wife because I can't be that person anymore and let them see that that's okay. And I didn't know these things, right? It took me a lot of years to learn that, and I want them to learn that lesson earlier. So for me to take that moment and just make a shift happen, and of course my husband's what's going on? What does that mean? But he was very open for it because I told him why. I told him why I had to do this because, especially for the girls, they're going to look at me and I want my son to do the same, like knowing it's okay to speak up and ask for what you want. And then just helping, more and more companies start to see that me being able to do things like this would have been unheard of probably 6 years ago. I would have never dreamed of doing lives or videos or speaking on stages or the podcast or any of this. So, it's definitely changed my life in ways that I could have never imagined before I learned about it.
I love that part of the impetus for your change was seeing your daughters and going, if I don't do this differently,
Hmm.
that's that hits right there. That's like,
Yeah,
wow.
powerful.
So, okay, so your clients, what have you noticed? How have they changed?
So funny you talk about that because I have someone coming to speak tomorrow night for my group that I'm leading, but I can see in her, she came to me without a lot of confidence, struggling with working out with her boss, getting things accomplished, feeling like she wasn't doing well at all. And we spent time just understanding her story, like what is holding you back? What are the situations exactly? And so one of the situations was a person who was very intimidating to her, a person who had a really strong personality and just didn't believe in what my client was doing was important. And so she didn't give her the time of day. And so I said, well, let's find a way to understand that person, right? Why is she acting that way? Understand what she's going through. So kind of getting in that person's head a little bit helps you start to see them differently, right? You have more compassion for them. And so what she discovered is that this person was going through a lot of things personally, and that person was taking it out on everyone at work, not meaning to. I don't think it was intentional, but the more she started talking to her and building a relationship with her, she saw that there's an opportunity for us to work together differently. And their relationship changed 180 degrees from where it was. And they started to get things done. They started to have conversations. So I think it's trying to always understand other people and what's going on and those impacts, right? Her boss, was under a high pressure situation and he just wasn't dealing with developing his team well. So it's understanding where those little problems are and helping them find ways to get into conversations differently or build relationships with them and helping them have compassion, because you can look at someone very differently when you have compassion for their situation versus just saying, oh, they're just being a jerk to me, right? They're not being kind. I don't know what's wrong with them, which is most people's response, right? They're just going to say, I can't work with them. But I've shown time after time that usually you can get through. It's just you have to spend a little intentional effort to make that happen.
So you have just done this metamorphosis. When you said earlier, you said your husband, you're getting a new wife. You weren't kidding. Like you literally are a
Yeah.
new person.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has
Coaching
this
was
done?
that.
Sorry, I was going to
Oh,
ask,
go
what has
ahead.
this done for your kids? You and your kids?
I mean, it's great. I think we have a much better relationship. I believe now I worked a lot of hours when I worked at the company. I traveled a lot. And so that to me was what I was supposed to do, right? That's what you're supposed to do in the world is go do all these things. And, I think it took me away from a lot of their stuff. I wasn't able to attend everything that they did. I attended a lot, but not everything. And once I was home, like I was working from home, got to see them more, got to talk to them more, got to see their day to day. I've really spent a lot of time over the last few years trying to find ways to create experiences with them. So one daughter I took to Colorado, the other daughter I took to a Formula One race in Austin, Texas. My son and I are looking at concerts that he wants to go to. So there's just, I think that's important because that's what people remember, right? Long in the future, right? It's not what you got for Christmas. It's not what you got for your birthday. It's the experiences that you had. And I know that they see how I'm showing up in the world differently now. And, there's times where they're like, Mom, I don't want to be coached. I'm just asking a question. I'm not coaching you. So it's hard to turn off. I'll tell you that. But it's like it creates such a sense of not security, but curiosity inside of you all the time then, because you're always trying to figure out like what's happening for that person. Are they okay? And the other thing that it's taught me is that I can't fix people, right? They have to figure out their own journey. And I used to try to jump in and make things better. And now I've realized that my kids need to learn how to solve their own problems, right? I can help them where I can, but they have to build those muscles themselves of how to do that and that they're going to be just fine, right? They're going to learn things, make mistakes just like we all have. But me fixing it to make it better isn't going to solve it for them.
Wow, this is a power-packed interview. We're only 15 minutes so far. This is great. Okay, let's talk about how can people engage with you. I'll be tagging you in this, obviously, and
Okay.
dropping in links in the after in the Facebook. Who do you really want to attract in this network? Who do you want to talk with, network with, JV with, have as clients? Who are you most drawn to?
I think anybody who is, whether they're a coach, whether they're an entrepreneur, they are in some type of leadership role. I think it's anyone who is wanting to do more, but just feels like they can't, like they're stuck. They don't know how to do it. They don't know the steps to take. I really try to approach any conversation I have with anybody to see if it's an opportunity to help them, right? I'm not for everybody, right? And I will recommend them to other coaches if I think they're a better fit for them. But I want people to come in at least open to the conversations and what we can do together. From a JV standpoint, I think I haven't done a ton of them, so I would be excited to do more. I think there's a lot of opportunity to do things with other coaches potentially who do something slightly different than what I do. And that would be, maybe an add on to a retreat that they're doing or to do some kind of program together. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there that I see a ton of people doing. And I've just been at this moment focused on getting my own stuff off the ground a little bit more, but I think it's a cool opportunity to pursue.
I feel like that you got a great horizon coming your way. Like there's a
I hope
lot.
so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, any last closing comments for the audience then? This will spark some interest for sure. And how do you want to end this interview?
I mean, I guess I'll just share a couple lessons that I learned that I hope help someone else in the group, right? It's trusting yourself, and I think we don't do enough of that. we tend to assume everybody else knows. And so we're taking the next program, we're trying the next thing, trying to be like somebody else instead of being ourselves and trusting that we know the right things to do, accepting the good things and the bad things that we have about us instead of trying to change them, just really accepting wherever we are and trying to move forward in the best way. I found that that has helped me tremendously. I don't mind being vulnerable. I share my story with everybody because I want them to know that they're not alone. And I think a lot of people assume that they are the only ones going through something. And I just want everyone to know that they're not. There's more people out there struggling with this. And I want to help.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, Sue Barber, thank you for being here and such a
Thank
powerful
you.
interview on a Monday in Empower Network TV. Who invited you here, Sue? Do you remember?
Janet Swaski did.
Okay. I just messaged Janet Sawaski this morning. We're talking about something else. So that's amazing. Thank you,
Excellent.
Janet.
Yeah, she's amazing. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, let's end the broadcast here and we'll keep chatting. Thanks, Ian TV, for watching.
Okay.
Please reach out to Sue Barber if what she has said impacts you and you want to connect with her. She'd love to connect with you. All right. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you.